You're blocking your own face right now, but
Oh, yeah, it's the camera thing again.
and yes, we are live. I'm here with my old friend, my old buddy and pal, Adrian. How you doing?
All good things,
Has
man.
it really been a year since we've done a stream?
Has it?
I
Has
don't
it?
know. How long's it been?
Oh my gosh.
It doesn't
I
seem like
mean,
that long, but we were talking before going live, and you said something about a year. It's been a year since whatever has happened, but so I'm not sure. But let me check the date right now. Adrian K. See when I spoke to you last. Okay. Adrian
hmm,
K. No, it hasn't been that long. We spoke in what? Oh, that's today's date.
like
Okay.
April, like
2023.
April.
It was February 2023. Wow.
Okay, so over a year.
It's been over a year. I can't believe it. Wow.
Well, I keep you in my, I
Lots
keep
of
you in my
prayers.
daily mass intentions,
Nice. I appreciate
and
that.
I try to chip in when you do live streams.
Yeah, I see you in the live chat. Yeah, I see you in the live chat.
So it doesn't seem like that long ago. But yeah,
That's right.
I guess February of last year would have been a different set of circumstances than March of 2024.
Yeah.
So
Things keep changing. And uh, just before we get into all the Catholic stuff, I'm just wondering what you think about all my New Age guests I've been getting from Podmatch. Like a lot of New Age. What do you think about all that?
well, one of the things that I really appreciate about the format that you present is casting a wide net and bringing fish of many varieties into a forum where not to the point where and maybe the guests think that they're evangelizing in their own way, but I think really you one of your charisms is humble hospitality, and it can't it doesn't fail that somebody doesn't leave with a nugget to ponder after when they're done. I don't get a chance to watch all of your
Yeah.
podcasts, but you had the former Carmelite nun, and and
Wow.
I could see from there hopefully it'll be good to touch base with her
Yeah.
later and see if anything is
You can see the graces
oh,
coming your way.
yeah, well, I think one can't help but be transformed by transcendent things, you know and I think if you specifically are praying that it is a Christ encounter in hospitality, the other person can't help but be changed by that, you know, and 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 hopefully both sides and people that are listening take a step closer to home plate. You know what I mean? I mean that's encounter is always in the middle of both sides, right? So, um,
The other thing I think about with my guests who are, anti-Christian or non-Christian is the fact that their guardian angel is Catholic. It's like that's a fact. Their guardian angel's not Hindu or Buddhist or New Age or atheist. Their guardian angel's fully Catholic.
well,
You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, without being flippant, right? Like the yeah, without being flippant, every soul is created to be in communion with God Most High, right? It's the creator of the universe.
So if
So
it's the way I think about it, if it's a one-on-one, let's say it's a one-on-one and the guy is anti-Catholic or whatever, it's like it's not one-on-one, it's three against one because there's me, but I've got my guardian angel and he's got his guardian angel. That's three of us. So it's not like it's a battle. Well, it is a
and
spiritual
there's
battle. It is a spiritual
and
battle,
truth
but
and truth, right?
Uh-huh, uh-huh, yeah,
So that's
yeah.
the do you do construction work?
Yeah,
Is
I'm in
that
the office. I do visit the job sites, I deliver stuff, I do some manual labor, but it's mostly in the office doing estimations.
mm, I that's funny, the estimations. There might be some kind of nugget of that you apply into your spiritual life too, right? Doing this. Um, for a couple of years, I was a land surveyor,
Oh, yeah,
and um,
you were the guy with the yellow pole with the laser on it or whatever?
yeah, doing optics and trigonometry and
Oh,
checking corners and checking distances and angles and elevations and things. But you know, like the American founding fathers, a lot of them were land surveyors also,
ah, oh,
and 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 some of the the Greek philosophers, right, were
yeah,
also.
geometers.
Um, but there's something about our catechesis and our Catholic truth that is also triangulates and fits, right? Hierarchy of truths, and you can see when something's askew. You know,
Yeah.
um, you know, before this thing started, before when we were chit chatting before you went live, one of the things that I was thinking about, we were talking about friendships that coexist in the sacrament of penance, coexist in the Eucharistic life, and how miscommunications can be healed
Mm,
just by both persons maintaining a a vector of truth, right? That vector of truth always brings people back home to each other. Um, and you're familiar with Edith Stein, right?
roughly, yeah, roughly.
Yep.
Patroness of Europe and all that.
You'd love her readings,
I should
but
check it out, yeah.
um, she exists in time and space, right? And she had started off as Jewish heritage, but as a mathematician.
Ah.
And so um, when she got together with Husserl
Oh.
and von Hildebrand,
Oh.
von Hildebrand. Oh, I wanted to suggest this for you and your beloved. But von Hildebrand wrote a very short kind of phenomenological treatise on marriage, and the first half of the book is on natural marriage, and the second half of the book is on the sacramental marriage. But
Ah.
and it's a quick read,
Yeah.
you know. But I think that you and your beloved would find more than one point of agreement in that kind of meditation. But so here we are in Nazi Germany, pre-Nazi Germany, and you have Husserl, who is Aristotelian, also Thomistic, and branching into this philosophy of phenomenon, right? Phenomenology. And you have Edith Stein, who's a mathematician, who gets drawn into this same kind of companionship of exploration through phenomenology. Von Hildebrandt's there. You also have this dude named Heidegger, and there's more. There's you can look into it. It was kind of like a salon group of you know collaborators, right? But the Eucharist was a point of focus for these philosophers, right? And what's interesting is that this study of Aristotelian phenomenology that was very Eucharist centered, very charity centered, very um, love as uh, not an emotion but a relationship with other, right? Um, Heidegger went sideways, and he left the church, he left the faith, he joined with the Nazi factions, And if you read Heidegger stuff, it's all about subjugation. It's all about splitting arts and technology, subjugating people, subjugating things for the harnessing of power. So a lot of this Heideggerian discourse gets taken into, you know, fascist, national socialist, democrat philosophy, industrialization, right? Really horrendous stuff. But he left that Eucharistic truth before he went and did, all of his stuff. So this Edith Stein, von Hildebrandt, both of them, were victimized by the Nazi regime, right? Husserl too. Von Hildebrandt fled Germany, came to the U.S. Um, he's my philosophical grandfather. So he taught my professor, and my professor taught me. Um, and she was also uh, a widowed Jew who converted into Catholicism. Hopefully, she's still alive. Rhonda Shervin, she's fantastic. She did some stuff for EWTN on vocations and callings, and late vocations for the priesthood. Uh, her last name is Chervin, Rhonda. A really great lady. So, but that goes back to the missionaries of the Holy Apostles, because she used to teach at Holy Apostles Seminary, um, that we had talked about.
Cool.
It's good to see you, dude.
Very cool. Well, that's a very rich context for a Catholic saint. And I know, I've always been a little bit skeptical of modern and postmodern philosophies, but I know that, you know, Saint John Paul II, he was sort of into phenomenology to some
Yeah.
extent, right?
Oop.
What's that? Ah, okay. I haven't read that yet.
It's well, you're living it. You're sitting in it right now, right? Um, but you're absolutely right. John Paul II, the Dada movement of art and the phenomenology movement kind of coexisted in the same sphere of things.
Cool. I like the Dada sort of rebellious attitude thing. I don't know how Catholic that is, but I do like it. The silliness.
Extremely Catholic.
Oh, no way.
Extremely Catholic.
Cool.
Aside from not in the Mardi Gras, Ash Wednesday, cultural Catholic. But if you look at the founding premises of Dada, extremely incarnational, extremely Catholic. And if you look at the work of Dali, if you look at the work of Magritte,
I love him.
there's a lot of okay. So Magritte,
Yeah.
you're familiar with the painting of the man with the apple in front of his face, right? That's catechesis.
Oh, no way.
Think about it. What I wish we could pull up a picture of it, but so
Maybe I
but
will.
you have
Okay.
in your head this businessman, right? And there's variations on the themes, a a sea of raptured businessmen, all in matching bowler hats, right? But what's in front of his face?
Green apple.
What's that catechizing?
The fall.
Hmm?
The fall? Is it about the fall?
Hmm.
Cool. I haven't studied this period of art, but I know that I like Rene Magritte's style, his artwork. I'm gonna pull it up on the screen, okay?
Yeah.
But keep talking about it while I find the image.
Yeah, so Dali, Marcel Duchamp.
Yeah. I love him. He did that urinal and all that stuff.
Well, yeah, so that's even more fascinating. So one of the things he called it the fountain,
Uh-huh.
right? Um, do you know what his pseudonym was that he signed that fountain with?
No.
There's R. Mutt, Mutt,
Okay. Armut.
right? What's Do you know what Armut is in German?
Uh, Armat. No.
Poverty.
Ah. Ah. Cool. Very cool.
He did another one that is only appreciated in the ways that people think that they apprehend it, called The Bride Stripped Bare by Her Bachelors.
Ah. Sounds like
That's
a frog
extremely
song.
that's extremely Catholic.
Wow. Cool.
So who's the bride?
The church?
Yeah. Who were the bachelors?
Apostles?
No,
Oh, stripped bare by the. Okay, stripped bare by the bachelors. Would it be the Jews or who would that be?
by the clerics,
Okay.
by the celibates.
I see. Okay. I'm putting the image of the Rene Magritte's apple on the screen just so people can see what we're talking about with that image. I'll put some of the other images up too as you
Yeah,
speak.
will I be able to see it too? Or
Not now, but you
I'll look
you
it
have
up.
it in your
I'll look
mind's
it up.
eye.
I'll look it up. Yeah, I'll look it up on my phone.
Very cool. I had no idea that you knew about art history.
It's one of the things my bachelor's is in.
No way. Cool. Who are we just talking about with the that was Duchamp, right? With the
Duchamp, Marcel
fountain.
Duchamp.
And what's the name of the fountain? Oh, the fountain.
The fountain's called the fountain. And then the other one that we were talking about was the bride stripped bare by her bachelors
Okay. I'm not
or
familiar
by
with
her
that.
celibates.
I'll take a look at that. I often thought it would be nice to have a urinal at home because, it's a convenient way to relieve yourself for a man. But I've never seen it in a private home.
It's the male version of the bidet. Like you bump up class levels once you have one.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. I wasn't prepared to do a lecture on Dadaism, so that's that's in me. It's in me.
Yeah,
It,
well,
it just needs to,
that's next time. Next time we meet.
like Michelangelo sees the block of granite and releases the Pietà. There's an Adrian inside of this Adrian that is willing to be chiseled away also, you
Okay,
know.
bride stripped bare. Okay, here we go. Do I know this piece? What does it look
No,
like?
probably not. It's one of his more obscure ones that
Is it a
people only talk
sculpture?
about.
Is it a sculpture or a painting?
Both. It's actually more than that, but
Okay.
people only know what they know, right?
Ah,
You know what the four types of knowledge are?
according to Plato?
No, well, I don't know what it's according to.
Well, we have intuition, the highest direct knowledge, and then it goes down to opinion.
Oh, I
Or
would love to have you write that out so we could talk about that later.
yeah,
But okay, so think about, the hemispheres of the brain.
yeah.
So consider that your brain has four different open containers,
Okay.
right? So like dun 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 dun, right? One's things that you know that you know. One's things you know that you don't know. One's things you don't know that you know,
Uh,
and one's things you don't know that you don't know.
uh,
And then there's also that weird thing of things you think are true that aren't. They kind of float in the middle, and your brain tries to like put it in one of the boxes, and you don't know how to do it, and but very very interesting stuff. The how what year were you born?
70.
How
I'm gonna turn on the 18th of this month. I'm gonna turn 54.
All right, so you're halfway to 108.
Yeah.
Do you remember these?
Of course, I love them. Yes.
Okay. Can you do it?
Yeah, of course, of course.
You can. Okay, not of course, because some people don't know. but
It's
this
just a
is super
matter of
cool.
taking the time to learn how to do it, and I took the time because I wanted to see it, so I took
Yeah.
the time.
Okay, so check this out. This is gonna blow your mind, D. You know Dali's Last Supper?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dali's Last Supper was painted as one of these.
No way.
Yes. Yes.
Why Dali?
Yeah. Dali's Last Supper is a
Wow.
stereogram.
Wow. I'm gonna Google that right now and see if I can find the image and stare through
Dude, if you could see that, that would be so awesome. And one step closer to you and I being in ministry together.
it. Stereogram, right?
Yeah.
I often use the stereogram as an analogy for the faith. I mean, once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's
Well,
the
so
analogy
did
I've always
Dali.
used.
So did
Ah,
Dali.
ah,
If you pull up the Last Supper, the corpus of our Lord is painted translucent
ah,
because Dali was encouraging the viewer to look through the Lord.
ah, ah,
And when you look through the Lord like this, when you look through it,
ah,
the image folds in on itself.
ah.
And in his Last Supper, there's two halves of bread. And when you look through the image and the image folds in on itself,
Ah.
the bread becomes whole.
Oh, wow. Cool.
There's even cooler stuff with that that would take some time for you and I to like work some stuff out. But the apostles disappear and there's a pyramid with an eye on the top. Bizarre. It's
The
bizarre.
all-seeing eye.
Do you the you know
Illuminati.
but here's the thing. The with the Nanu. What's how do you do
Mork
the
from
Vulcan
Mork.
the Vulcan thing, right?
Oh, this one. Live long and
Yeah,
prosper. That's
I can't
Jewish, right?
yeah, I can't do it without a thing. But no, the Jewish part, this is the rabbinical blessing. Ah, you can do it, I can't do it. But this is the rabbinical blessing. So, the Lord shine upon you, is be gracious to you, right? That's the
Ah.
rabbinical blessing is that.
Is that related to
So
the Shammai Israel or whatever?
Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Check this out.
Oh, wow. Jews for Jesus?
This is when I go on mission trip to the Vatican. This is what I wear.
No way.
Yeah, I need to add a crescent moon. I took it out of my bag, but I
Crescent
don't
moon
want
for
to.
Mary?
Yeah, of
Or
course.
for the Fatima people, the Muslims.
Well, you realize why that's the symbol for Islam, right?
Because of Mary?
Yeah, is that forgive me for not knowing the correct historical names and dates. I can look it up for you. But when the Star and Crescent became a symbol for Islam was when they were sieging a Catholic city that was preparing for a Marian feast. And so the city had Star and Crescent flags already prepared for a Marian feast. And when the siege took over the city, those were the flags that the Islamic army
Wow.
waved.
Wow.
So the entire symbol of Islam, the Star of Crescent, is a Marian symbol without them even realizing it.
She's the star of the sea and that sort of thing?
Well, I don't know. I don't want to like say anything on the record,
Yeah.
but
We can speculate. I want to ask you about God by Baroness Elsa von Freytag Lorenthoven.
I don't know who that is.
It might be complete nonsense because it's coming from Phil Gonzalez, who's who's known for his dada lifestyle in the live chat. So
Oh yeah.
he might be completely just mocking the conversation as he usually
What was
does.
what was the name?
The title of the work is God, and it was by Baroness Elsen von Freytag Loring Lornthoven. I think it's a joke. I think this is a joke.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat box so you can see what he wrote.
But
But
one other amazing catechetical artist is Marc Chagall.
Chagall. Oh wow, yeah, very
Oh,
Jewish.
extremely, extremely, but very, very like Saint Mark's Gospel. You know, this is the fulfillment of God's promise to Israel, right? This is some amazing stuff, and you have to wonder, because you and I are existing in, you know, essentially the beginning of the third millennium of Christ, right? We have lost so much in the last 3 or 4 generations of our heritage, you know. Um, when I first started going to daily mass after 9/11, I was out of the country. I was living in Jamaica, and I had sworn into the State Department like 10 days before 9/11 happened, maybe 14 days before 9/11 happened. So I was out of country, um, and started going to daily mass soon after that, um, for multiple reasons. But one of the things that happened is that I started on Saturday mornings going to Saturday mass in the morning, and then
Uh,
walking to the synagogue in downtown Kingston and spending Shabbat with the Jewish community of Kingston, and which has a very diverse, like most of them are Catholic Jewish marriages. Like even the rabbi was married to a Catholic and sent his kid to Catholic school. So, uh, but that was my second faith home, was spending time with these guys. Um,
oh, you should Google if you have access to your Google. You should Google the God sculpture. It's real, okay? It's Baroness Elsa von Freytag Lorenthoven.
all right,
Sounds like
help me.
something out of Voltaire, but
Well, help me. Well, how do I spell
I put it in the
the?
I put it in the chat bar of Google Meet. So if you look at your chat bar
Oh
of
yeah,
Google
but I
Meet,
gotta do it on my phone. So let me
I see. Okay,
let me
pull it
see what
up
I.
and type
Oh,
it in.
okay. Freytag, Lord Hogan. But we were talking about, okay. So let's step back a second. So we're talking about Magritte with the apple, right? The apple is our sin,
Yeah.
and the whole motif of that is, how people become, and there's psycho spiritual reality to that also, right? But people walk around with their sin ever before me. It's like that psalm,
Psalm
right? My
51.
sin is ever before me, right?
It
First glance, it looks like testicles.
to me it looks like plumbing.
Let's see.
It's a sepia tone photograph of some plumbing, or is it actually a painting?
It's pulling up. Dude, I miss talking with you. This is good. No, I was literally outside in my car, and I was like, Lord, how do you want me to sanctify this Sunday? And I was like scrolling through Twitter. I'm like, this isn't it. This isn't it. This. And then I saw you said no show, and I was like, bingo. That's yes. Okay, I can
Whoa.
do this.
Oh, it's a sculpture. Phil says it's a sculpture. Wow.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. But
And
I'm
he's
still
friends with
good.
Duchamp. He's friends.
Yeah.
She's friends with Duchamp.
Well, so Chesterton, Lewis, and Tolkien were a part of a small faith group together,
Okay.
right?
Cool. Cool.
They would meet for breakfast. They would have prayer,
Wow.
like, so, the entire Narnia and Lord of the Rings and Chesterton stuff all came out of the three of them meeting together regularly, breaking bread with one another,
Wow.
spending time in prayer and mutual discipleship. and encouraging each other to make a difference. In the same way, Husserl and Stein and von Hildebrand, were a part of this collection of uh, visionary philosophers, mathematicians. In the same way, the surveyors that were like, stuff's messed up in this British colony. There's got to be a better way that we can handle this. For whatever reason, this isn't bringing up.
I put the image up on the screen so when you watch it back, you'll be able to see it, and my viewers can see it.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. My phone's hacked, dude. I'm on so many watch lists. I have no idea.
I don't use my smartphone. I just find it annoying. Like I said, I'm old. So
You're not old. You're in your
halfway to
third
108.
your third journey towards 25, right?
So
So
very fascinating stuff. Yeah, I love it. I feel now I can feel less guilty
I
when I appreciate modern art.
yeah, 1917 during the Great War.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And it looks like it's paired with Duchamp's
Uh
fountain.
huh. Uh-huh. Were your
So,
profs Catholic? Some of them.
oh yeah. Well, and here's the incredible thing, right? And I'm sure, like you and I are both very aware of these areas around our planet that are being ripped apart by bloodshed right now, right? I mean, even Haiti, you know, where where there's trauma, God makes himself known. And the Dada movement came out of horrendous trauma in the aftermath of the Great War. You know, almost all these artists that we're talking about saw companions ripped apart by machine guns, uh, dying from chemical exposure. I mean, the horrors of World War One are beyond the grasp of you know most people who like to talk about their opinions on things. You know, but out of this trauma, there was healing and rebuilding of community and um, like I said, I don't have a Dada lecture prepared, but you know, how do you justify these ornate buildings of worship that have been ripped apart by bombs? How do you justify these elaborate and I mean here we're living in a world now where someone can poop on a piece of canvas and sell it for $5 million if they market it right.
And if their last name is Biden.
Yeah. Don't get me started on that. The that that's an offline conversation that we can um but you have all these great pictures of the faith, these Renaissance masters, enshrined, and all that we're supposed to be Christendom, and yet look and see what brother did to brother, you know. So you know, rather than have that, number one, because there isn't that anymore, and number two, giving lip service to the faith, why not just meet in cafes with people that were once enemies and come together with music and come together with spontaneous poetry and come together with art and uh, speak of what could be a new reality than the reality of Heideggerian subjugation and uh, mechanization of humanity. You know, it's But yeah, so you end up having these hidden catechetical things with Magritte, you know, and these hidden catechetical things with Duchamp. And we talked about the stereogram of Dali. I mean, if you're able to see that, if you're able to get a copy of The Last Supper in a where you're able to
Yeah,
be in the
yeah,
same
yeah,
space
yeah,
with it,
yeah, yeah.
dude, I am looking forward. I've been waiting 4 years to have that conversation with somebody.
Cool. Yeah, well, I'll get a hard copy of it somehow. I'm sure they sell it as a poster on Amazon. They sell everything on Amazon.
You know what's interesting? This is a sculpture of a U trap,
Ah, you gonna do
right?
freestyle interpretation now?
Well, I'm really I'm actually
My friend Phil's going pretty hard against you, saying, "How can you not know this? You have a degree. You should know this. You should know this." So I'm
we're all
trying to.
works in progress. I'm
Yeah,
not, you
exactly,
know, what do
exactly,
you want? I got my
exactly.
degree in 2000 and then spent years doing community development and seeking priestly formation. So like, it's not like, I'm
Full time now.
no, but what's interesting about the U trap is it keeps the stench,
Uh,
right?
yeah.
No, I'll look into that. It's
Yeah, yeah,
interesting.
yeah. Look into it. Well, I was thinking we could have a fun. I could host you and Phil because I don't know, but I think Phil is an art critic. That's what I've heard through the grapevine that he's an art critic.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so maybe you two can
Oh,
prepare, and
yeah,
I would
totally open,
love to hear you two
dude.
talk about art. I would love
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah. No, open invitation. Hit me up. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, that would be a
I don't,
lot of
I
fun.
don't, I don't, uh, I don't presume to
And
be
he's a
the end all be
musician.
all.
I don't know if you're a musician or not.
I've tinkled on ivories at some point,
Okay.
and I've tooted into brass on
Yeah.
occasion.
Cool.
But no, that I'm sure that if I was living with my child, I would have music in my house every day. But there's a I'm in a I've had a 4 year Lent so far.
Cool.
You know,
Wow. You doing your purgatory now or what?
well, hopefully better and better. But yeah, in a lot of ways, a lot of ways. Um, hmm.
Very cool stuff. Yeah.
It's kind of nice to have a counterpoint with Edith Stein being a Carmelite and the previous guest who was also a Carmelite. Maybe ask for her intercession and that vocation
Are
for
you
that
talking
person.
about my guest who is pro women's ordination? Is that the guest you're talking about? The
No,
older lady, or who are you talking about?
no, the girl that read you her masturbation poem.
I don't recall. I mean, that's kind of weird. How could
No,
I not
remember
remember that? That seems like something I would remember.
remember you asked her if she had a wife and kids and you spit your water.
Oh, oh yeah. Oh, okay, I do remember that. Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
remember.
No, she read you the poem and it was like the
Oh,
rippling street.
the hypersexual
Yeah, yeah,
imagery of the
yeah,
intimacy and all that sort of stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's ringing a bell now. Yeah.
Hey, is Ramadan starting now?
Very soon. Very soon.
Um, when I was doing missionary work at St. Peter's, um, years ago, uh, I was helping out at Polyclinico, the public hospital. I was a chaplain there for a little bit,
Oh, it might
and
be on today. It might be starting today, actually. I'm just looking on Google.
yeah. Have you ever have
Or
you ever
it's
have
saying
you
I got the 10th, I got the 11th, and I got the 12th, so I don't know which one's true. But
mm,
anyway, it's soon.
have you ever tried the Ramadan
No,
practice?
no.
It's tough, dude,
Yeah,
and it's tough to do it without a community.
yeah, yeah.
Super tough to do it without a
My
community.
friend slash boss at work is Muslim, and he does it every year. And he's working, I don't know, 12 hours a day and doing. He's on the job site. He's working. He's in the office. He's doing a lot of stuff during Ramadan. It's incredible.
Can I put a bug in your ear?
Sure.
If you if you and just bug in your ear. So chew it and pray about it. But if you prayed for our Muslim brothers and sisters to come to know our Lord in the Eucharist by practicing Ramadan,
Ah, ah,
it's a lot easier to dialogue if you're able to walk with someone, you know.
yeah.
And I don't know, maybe
Have
maybe
you
ask
tried
it.
it?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm 45 now. I try, and when I was living in Rome, I was able to do it because I stayed close to the Muslim community while I was doing it. Um, it's hard to do it isolated, like as a private practice. It's extremely hard. Um, but I always, when you see people like complaining about their Lenten or bragging about their Lenten practices,
Struggles. Yeah,
it's kind of
yeah,
like,
yeah.
dude, have you tried waking up at 5 in the morning to like, you know, eat a piece of bread and drink something before the sun comes up? It's
Have
no,
you
but
ever obeyed the 600 odd commandments of the Jews just to bring the Jews closer?
you know, so I told you that I belong to the Kingston Synagogue, right? And I found myself. So I was in Cologne for World Youth Day with Papa Benedict, and I stayed, well, I showed up a week or two early to help set up for the incoming volunteers, and then we did our hands-on service during Weltjugendtag, and then after Weltjugendtag, we my team and I stayed for another week to help. Um, so I mean, have you been to a World Youth Day before? No, you didn't go to the one in Toronto.
No. When was
Ah,
that? When was that?
that was with John Paul II.
I wasn't Catholic at that time. I was atheist.
That was 2001.
Yeah, I was still atheist.
Maybe World Youth Day in Toronto help bump you over the
Yeah.
help bump you
Oh,
over the
yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
Um,
for
but
sure.
there's a lot of leftover food. There's a lot of leftover blankets.
Okay.
There's a lot of leftover bottled water, resources and things like that. And I had so I was at World Youth Day in Toronto with John Paul II. That was extremely poignant. And then I found myself at World Jugendtag in Germany with Papa Benedict, and so my team and I ended up staying for another week and like got those resources distributed to like the Red Cross and whatever to make sure that things were taken care of. And there were a lot of pilgrims to Weltjugendtag that had like missed flights or whatever. So help with their housing and kind of the aftermath stuff. That was the same time as Hurricane Katrina.
Oh.
Hurricane Katrina happened during that same week. I remember because my team, we had several that were Polish, but it was in Germany. So a couple of people on my team were German, and they were like, "Did you hear about New Orleans?" And I said, "No." This is no cell phone, right? This is 2005, and I'm like itinerant, whatever. And they were like, "There's cows." And I was like, "What?" They're like, "Cows. There's water everywhere, and just total cows." And in
Ah,
my
ha, ha,
and
ha,
in
ha,
my,
ha, ha, ha. Got
in
it.
my
I got it. I
brain,
got
I'm like thinking of like some Noah flood with like belly up bovines. And I'm like, "What are you saying?" They're like, "Cows. It's an English word, cows, chaos." And I'm like, "Oh, chaos, total chaos. Oh yeah, okay, that makes more sense than cows."
it.
But funny.
That's cool.
But yeah, I mean, you know, he, it's interesting. We're 2024, right? Benedict's passed away. Pray for us. And so many people who who feel like they're, you know, living the faith, broadcasting the faith, proclaiming the faith. The Where's their seedbed, right? Like, did they know men who were drafted into World War II and witnessed the horrors of that then came out and said, I'm answering God's call to the priesthood? That generation of our church, and I'm not talking about quotes that they said, right? I'm not talking about stances that they took. I'm talking about the fiber of their person. You know, we're in this like milk toasty milieu of like comfortable Catholicism or comfortable dissent. But we're entering into an era. I mean, what, 250 Catholic schoolgirls just got kidnapped by terrorists proclaiming the faith of Muhammad in Nigeria? I mean, any prayerful Muslim would say those aren't Muslim, right? They're not followers of the Lord, right? But you know, I don't know. Canada. Like I don't know anybody that grew. I I don't think that I ever met anyone who grew up in the Anglican Catholic Wars of Ireland. You know, like I don't like I think I've, you know, I mean there's some movies about the IRA, right? But like, look at what's going on in Nicaragua right now. I mean, you literally cannot walk on the street carrying a rosary without potentially being arrested and thrown into a torture prison. Like, the Red Cross has been shut down. Mother Teresa's sisters have been kicked out. The Papal Nuncio's office has been shut down. Catholic Radio Network was kicked in. And not just faith press, but any press or media that's not aligned with the Ortega regime has been totally dismantled. Catholic colleges have been closed down under tax, you know, whatever legal thing Ortega's, and he's just shutting it all down. Illegal. You can pray in the church. You can't pray outside of the church. And there's armed guards to ensure that that happens. Eucharistic processions, priests expelled and stripped of citizenship. Unbelievable. But it's naive for us to think that that can't happen in the United States, can't happen in Canada. If it's happening right now, it's happening. So this NIMBY, not in my backyard
Right.
naivety is, you know, and think about how many people like to, you know, wax pharisaical about like, oh, we would have done X if, you know, we were here when Hitler invaded Poland.
Hmm.
Well, are we seeing what's going on right now? Like, you know, I yesterday there was a Catholic men's conference in Maryland, and I'm grateful to be able to have a car. I'm grateful to be able to have gas in the car to be able to drive there. I'm grateful to be able to attend, right? I'm sure there are plenty of faithful, prayerful men in the archdiocese that could not logistically get there. You know, someone texted me the free code so I didn't have to pay the $50 entrance fee. I'm sure there's plenty of people that didn't go because they couldn't pay the $50 entrance fee. And you got an entire sanctuary filled to the brim of Catholic men there for the day. And the speakers are like making sports analogies and doing like kindergarten call and response stuff. And I'm like, and then the Archbishop comes up. And during Mass, the Archbishop, his sermon is about like betting on sports. Oh, if you were a betting man and I mean, you know what the gospel was yesterday, right? The Pharisee versus the tax collector, and the right. You got an entire room full of men who have taken the time out to go on a Maryland Catholic men's retreat. Not one mention of put in your application for the diaconate. Not one mention of if you're unmarried, contact the vocation director, or hey, these are some ministries that the archdiocese really needs, volunteers for, or, you know, go reach out to the parish down the street that's less, hey, any number of things that one could say to a captive audience of men who have willingly made time on a Saturday to be present. And, buy a copy of my book, you know. Oh, if I was a betting man, I'd put my money on the Pharisee. It's like,
They want it to be entertaining. I think that's the problem.
what are we doing?
They want to
What are we
make
doing?
it jaunty and fun. I think that's the trick.
But are people not paying attention to what's going on in the world right now? You know, uh, and let's talk about like the psychospiritual needs of those those actual people, right? Because we're all broken people, right? We're all works in progress. So for some people, showing up to that thing might be like the first thing, like the first time they'd ever been so bold as to, you know what I mean? That's possible, right? But where is the apostleship? Where's the being sent forth? Like how lowest common denominator can we get to like, oh, go to confession and show up to mass on Sunday. Okay, check. Now what? What do you need? My life is yours. Let's move the ball forward because it's 2024 and you know, this attend mass and go back home isn't working. You know, see you next Sunday. That's not our faith. We're if you need help, if you need healing, hey, stay afterwards. Let's talk. Let's get things growing. Oh, you need a car. Hey, Bob, I know that you're selling a car. Let's. There's I there's this one guy I met in Florida because I spent some time in like the Archdiocese of Saint whatever down there, and there's like one Pentecostal parish, and the pastor, and it was like a black Pentecostal parish, right? And he said, look, we got a mortgage on this thing. And he said, I need all of the men in the congregation to come on Friday night. We're going to have an all night prayer vigil, right? And he just looked at the guys. He was like, look, we have $500,000 on this mortgage. I need 50 guys. I need 50 guys to write a $10,000 check right now. And they did. Burn the mortgage that night. You know what I mean? Imagine read the book of Acts and see how all right, guys, we're doing this. We're changing reality. We have been radically changed by the resurrected God incarnate, who's present with us in the breaking of the bread and the prayers. Or, talk about Matrix, red pill, blue pill, right? And it's not just about joining a winning team, talking about past Super Bowl victories. Like what would we do if we turned into the Super Bowl and everybody that was on the team in the uniforms were just quoting what past Super Bowl winners had said post game. Oh, back in 1978, so and so said this about winning the Super Bowl. And well, are we playing a game or are we quoting people that played the game before us? You know what I mean? That's the stuff that kind of gets me in my crawl or whatever, you know.
Yeah. My
But
friend, I want to give a shout out to my friends in the live chat. Of course, Phil is there. Daniel Drazinovich, hello to you. Risto, Christopher Rice. So Christopher Rice is asking about, or he's making a point about, there's a lot of talk about recovery from high demand religions. What about recovery from low demand religions? When the bar is too low. If the bar is too high and you're like, oh, it's too much. But if the bar is too low, it's like it's not enough. You know what I mean?
right. Well, I
You know
mean,
what I mean?
true, right? I mean, how heavy is the cross, right? How heavy is the cross? Cheers. Virtual sips.
Cheers. So I gotta
Um,
I gotta wrap it up, but I think you left us on a bleak note, but there's also hope built into that pep talk. So maybe just round it off. I'll give you the floor. I'll give you the floor to just sort of round it off with a little bit of a positive slant on what you just said, or the overall
well,
thought.
all of that being said, I mean, we lift up everyone that's in crisis, right? Because we are a suffering church, right? But if we're in a position to be able to get to the sacraments, let's not rest on a virtual faith. Let's find our Calcutta where we are. Let's have tangible moments of encounter with the people that we meet. Let's ask how they're doing and actually listen, you know? And especially if we are encountering people that wouldn't consider themselves Catholic, for whatever reason, offer to pray the Lord's Prayer together. You know, there's the ties that bind us are stronger than those things that we perceive keeping us away. You know, there's a we can go back to that Magritte image of the apple in front of our face. If we take some time to remove the apple, we can be able to actually encounter each other for where we are and who we are and walk with each other. We're living in the reality of Emmaus if we're willing to walk beside each other and we're willing to allow the Lord to appear in our midst.
It's, in other words, it's not just cows. It's not just
Not
cows.
not just cows. Well, and it goes back to where the trauma is. That's where the Lord shows Himself,
Yeah.
right? So let's be the boots on the ground and be the ones present to be His hand of love. You know,
What we need are solutions for the team.
mm,
That's your
that's,
line, right? That's your line.
I'm not sure if it's caught any traction, but I'm hoping. I'm
It
hoping.
sticks out. It sticks out to me though, because it's a pragmatic thing. It's a pragmatic thing.
I love you, dude. You're a good
Love you.
man.
I love you too. Thanks for hopping on the call. And we'll try to do the Phil Gonzalez versus Adrian K art debate at some point. That should be fun. He's a sweet
Oh,
guy.
dude.
Phil's a sweet guy. He's a sweet guy.
Oh, yeah.
He just
No,
likes to,
versus
he
collaboration.
yeah, yeah, yeah. By the way, while you were speaking earlier, I bought on eBay. I bought the Dali painting framed and everything, so I'm gonna have
Dude,
that.
awesome.
Very
That's
cool.
that's a win. That's a win in my that's a win. I
I
appreciate
can't
that.
wait. I can't wait to discuss it with you once I do the stereogram stare.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
How many
seriously.
tabs of acid should I take beforehand? Just kidding.
No, just
That's a
relax.
Phil joke. That's a Phil joke. I know. I don't
Yeah.
need. I don't. Need, I've never taken acid, by the way.
Yeah. No, but when you do have it in front of you, realize the effort that Dali put
Wow.
into it to
Wow.
encourage people to look
What
through it.
year did he paint that?
That's a good question. I think there were multiple iterations. I'll have to
Okay.
like Google that for you.
Okay, but it was probably
Um,
early 20th century. Is that when he was around?
yeah, I mean, I'm thinking it's post World War II.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
Um, I'm
Mid
thinking it's
century.
post World War II,
Okay. Just
but
for
but I
fun,
could
I'll
be wrong.
check. Just for fun, I'll check since I got you here. Dali. Uh, just for fun. He lived from 1904 to 1989.
Yeah,
So yeah, you're
yeah,
probably right.
1955 post
Okay,
war.
cool. Very cool. Very cool. So God bless you, and I can't wait to have you back. And thank you for your ongoing prayers and masses for me and mine. I really do appreciate that. And of course, you're enrolled in a perpetual mass, and I'm praying for you and you and yours too. Okay, of
Let's you want to close with the Gloria?
course.
All glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, it is now, and ever shall be, a world without end.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, my brother. God bless you, and I'll see you around. See you on Twitter, and keep in touch, and we'll do this again.
Yeah, hit me up. I'm always available for you, bro.
Love you, brother.
All right.
Bye.